Something else that was broken over the weekend, because at a press conference before last Saturday night's Coke Zero Sugar 400, Trackhouse Racing announced that they are promoting Shane van Gisbergen to the NASCAR Cup Series full-time in 2025. Now, Trackhouse purchased a third charter to expand to a three-car team ahead of next year, as van Gisbergen joins Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez at the top level of stock car racing. Now, in order to get experience on ovals and get better understanding of stock car racing, SVG has been competing full-time in the Xfinity Series with Carl Racing. Now, so far, he's won 3 Xfinity races at Portland, Sonoma, and Chicago, including 2 poles, 5 top 10s, and 5 top 5s, and 6 top 10s. SVG said that when he decided to leave supercars and come to NASCAR, this is exactly what he planned for, and feels like he's ready to be a full-time Cup driver. He thinks he's made progress this year in Xfinity and looks forward to competing with NASCAR's top drivers on Sundays. However, one of the biggest surprises was the car number he'll use at Trackhouse. SVG is going to drive the number 88 Chevrolet, the same number that Dale Earnhardt Jr. used at the end of his Cup career. Now, before choosing this number, team owner Justin Marks got Dale Jr.'s blessing to use it, who said he's excited to see a new chapter added to this number's legacy, and believes the number 88 will have a good home with SVG behind the wheel, both graphics courtesy of Trackhouse Racing. At 35 years old, and not much time to mess around, is Shane van Gisbergen as ready as he'll ever be to go racing full-time in NASCAR Cup Series? Also, what do you think of him driving using the number 88 instead of the number 97, Matt?
Well, I'm massively excited for this, obviously, as regular viewers of this show will probably come to realise. Let's put it this way. Martin Truex Jr. is retiring at the end of this season. He's 43, 44. So if Shane was going to do it, he's only got, a fairly small window to go up there and run in the Cup Series full-time. And we're going to basically see him as a full-time Cup guy from here on out to the end of the year, because he's going to be pretty much in double dutying every week now for the end of this year, and then be up in the Cup Series full-time next year, as we've talked about. So I think he's ready. The results have been, obviously, he's got those 3 wins, as you said, Josh, all of them on the road courses, and of course Chicago on the street track. He's got a couple more opportunities to come his way with the Roval and Watkins Glen still to come to add to that list. The chance to put him up, we know how valuable a playoff berth is for a team now. We've seen that over the last couple of years, and we saw it at Richmond a couple of weeks ago, how valuable trying to get in one can be. How valuable it is now. And if you've got a guy that has the chance to just go and win a couple of races, not even a couple, just one of those road and street course races, now to use an IndyCar phrase, to get yourself in there, then that's massive for your team and for the company. So I think that's a part of this Trackhouse deal now, to get him up there and get him in the playoffs, because he's really got good chances. And now with Mexico being added to the schedule, as we've talked about, that's another one where he'll have his sights set on getting the trophy there. And we could see some more rugby balls being punted into grandstands here, there, and everywhere around the country, and in Mexico too. Running the 88, 97's been his number for a long time in Australia and now up in the States. And it probably, I was going to get another shirt anyway, and it just means I'll have to buy myself another shirt at the beginning of the season, I suppose. I don't like it, but I'm stuck with the 97's been his number for such a long time, since he came back with Techno in the VIP Pet Foods car. And Adam will remember that race he should have won at Bathurst when the starter motor failed in the pit lane. So it's been a long time with 97. So it's going to take a little change in the mind to see where the 88 is on the timing tower, or trying to spot it out on the racetrack. But as you said, it's a bit of an iconic number. The blessing has been given. There was the tweet from Dale Jr., wasn't there, on Saturday during the day, saying, "Oh, I'm excited about this announcement, because he's got something to do with it, with the 88 being involved." So I'm all for it. The time is now. If it's going to be done, it's got to be done now. Before, if he uses another year in the Xfinity Series then probably you would think time would run out and maybe there might not be a seat for him. So the chance to go is now, and they've snapped it with both hands.
And, he's going to be the same age as Josh Berry, or about the same age as Josh Berry, this year in his rookie year. Also about the same age as, Greg Biffle when he had his rookie year back in 2003. So, I mean, this is about the right time for, I guess, kind of a late bloomer, I guess we'll say late bloomer rookie, to get into the Cup Series. And, I mean, with the way SVG runs at these road courses and the way the playoff format is, I mean, you saw with Harrison Burton, also all it takes is just one win, so having someone who can easily go to one of 6 races or so, 5-6 races, and run up front and being contended for a win, that's huge for a team like Trackhouse Racing. I mean, just looking at, where they are right now, with having one driver in the playoffs based off of a win, and then one guy who's, below the cut line might not make the playoffs. I mean, being able to kind of have that bullet in the chamber, I think is really good. And this is the perfect time, like you mentioned with, age. I mean, time is kind to nobody, not even someone like Jeff Gordon, who said, I think about a year ago, that he's pretty much all done racing because, I mean, it's just not fun anymore. It's not, what he wants to do. I might as well do it now, and with Trackhouse investing so much, it's the perfect time. Get it going, see what happens.
Martin Brundle's 60 odd, and he's just got a new ankle, and he's back out there getting in some races ready for next season with his testing as well. So you're never too old. Let's get SVG once he fully retires, and let's get Jeff Gordon over and get them over for the Goodwood Revival meeting. Let's have that and the festival. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? As well,
I love that.
I would love it as well. I can't wait. When is it? It's in a few weeks, isn't it?
Revival? A couple of weeks, isn't it? Yeah. Normally end of September. So.
I wonder if I can cover any of it as well. That might be something to get on, actually. See if we can get a team together to cover that. That'd be fun. I've always wanted to do some Goodwood Revival stuff. Can't wait to see how SVG does in 2025. Should be quite interesting. Adam's also a massive fan. Dale's got a stronger identity with the 8 anyway, and Bowman already ran it for a few years after he retired. I don't know why JR Nation would be so upset about this, especially since Dale approved. I agree. Dale has approved it, and we've already had the 88 back, and everyone knew it was the 8 as much as his dad was the 3. It was how it all goes, and the 3's been back out in the series anyway for a number of years now. Reportedly, we're getting 5 road street in the regular season. That's a lot of chances to win and bag playoff points, then win stages on strategy, then win the Roval, and he's in the round of 8 as well. Seems like that's going to be an option, isn't it? And to be fair, he would have won Chicago if it, didn't end badly for him with the car coming out.
Yeah, me and Matthew talked about this in some back and forth messages earlier in the week. If he can get himself in the playoffs with a win anywhere, COTA, Sonoma, whatever, get himself in Chicago, just click off a couple of playoff points here through some sort of strategy, staying out at the end of a stage or whatever. Just click the playoff points coming over. If he can get through the first round with what he's got, and then he gets the Roval there in the second round of the playoffs, he could be straight into the round of 8 fairly no problem at all. And as I said, the more value that brings to a team is another one of the reasons why they've got someone that can get them there.
100%, absolutely as well. And to give SVG more laps in the next gen car ahead of his full-time Cup Series campaign in 2025, Trackhouse has added some additional Cup races to SVG's schedule. He'll run 6 of the final 11 races of the 2024 season in the number 16 Chevrolet for Colag Racing as well. SVG will drive in this weekend's Cookout Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway. Then he'll race in Atlanta, Watkins Glen, Talladega, Las Vegas, and Martinsville as well. And when asked by the media last Saturday about on-track experience, SVG said he still hoped to run some Xfinity races next year with Colag in a part-time schedule. Seems fair. He's getting in there, but I still use. Everyone knows my position on that. If you get to the Cup Series, you shouldn't run in the Xfinity, but SVG wants to learn and get as much as possible. There's a difference in that category as well. Still don't like it. But given how different the Xfinity car is from the next gen Cup car, will running some Xfinity races still be beneficial for SVG and help him out on the Cup side?
I think so. I mean, for colleague racing, if they have a full-time entry that has a bunch of different drivers, getting them in there for maybe a road course or two will be really helpful for points, especially, in the owner points, where you are at the end of the season, like top 25, you get like a pretty good bonus. So if they need someone like that, for maybe like an entry with multiple drivers, that is great. But for SVG himself, I think running the ovals, even if it may not have much to carry over technically, it's just a confidence thing because I will just say straight out, no matter what he learns in these oval races he runs in the last part of the season, he is going to struggle to some extent on the ovals next season in Cup. I mean, this is like you're talking the best oval racers in the whole world. I mean, SVG is definitely a talented driver and he's had some experience in Xfinity, but it's going to be a learning curve. We've seen it with drivers who have even had a lot of experience on ovals and finally get to Cup. A lot of the rookies we've seen over the years, Ty Gibbs for one. For someone like SVG, it's going to take some time to just get in the flow of things, to keep up with, the level of competition, the Cup Series. And I think the Xfinity Series running some oval races there will be great. You see with John Hunter Nemechek right now, how he's able to run some races with Joe Gibbs Racing in his, I don't want to, his second rookie year, well, I guess we'll call it first year. Obviously you ran the races with Front Row Motorsports in 2020, the whole season there. He's been running some races with Joe Gibbs Racing and Xfinity to kind of just, keep that confidence up, to keep, the morale up, because when you go a long time where, you're finishing the teens, 20s, even the 30s, not really running well, you kind of lose faith in yourself in some ways. So I think that'll really help with morale, help with other things as well.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I was listening to him being interviewed last week before on something. I can't remember what it was now, but he came back to the supercar schedule, which obviously he's been used to for a long time, where it was 2 races on a weekend, but it was once every 4 or 5 weeks at some stages. Whereas now he's racing every single weekend, and sometimes, as we talked about, going to be doing double duty between now and the end of the season. He's a racer. There's a lot of guys, I feel like, to your point, Josh, that are Cup guys that come down and do the odd race here or there. That's sponsor and money orientated. I think Shane is the type of guy to, if he, you put his hand up and go, yeah, I'll do it. Give me the car. I'll go and race. And if he's going to race, you would assume those Xfinity races next season are going to be on the road courses. Then he's got a chance to win, as he's proven this year with a great drive through the field at Portland. Sonoma, he kind of dominated. He's at the front level on the road courses in Xfinity. We've seen somewhat slightly different in the Cup Series, apart from, of course, at Chicago last year. But he's got the chance to go and do what colleague racing do best, to promote their upcoming documentary series on NASCAR's YouTube channel, Hunt for Trophies. And that's what Chris Rice and the guys do. And they've got Shane Van Gisbergen there to go and do that for them next season. And they'll take full advantage of every chance they get.